Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another video about You Only Live Once, my favourite token on any exchange at the moment. It's one that I'm glad that I'm a part of, and it's certainly something that I can see growing to great heights, given the development background, the skill sets, the moderation, everything that's a part of this it's something that's special, and it's going to go far, and I'm very confident of that. Now, what I want to show you today is farming by adding liquidity to pools. Now, let's just go through the basics of it. So the idea is, let's just say, for people that aren't familiar with it, and this will be my first time actually doing it. If you were to say you had $1,000 and you wanted to make interest on it, you usually send it to a bank, right? You can invest it in other things, but it's the same type of thing with crypto, especially in the DeFi space. This is huge. Some of the returns can be massive, but what we need to do in this situation is we need to pair it. So I'll go through that in a moment. Okay. So the partner that's come on board with Yolo at this stage is JAZZDEFI. So they've just started off. With their own DeFi exchange. So it's much like Pancake. They're obviously a lot smaller. They're trying to do their own thing, and it's a pretty cool thing. They're obviously getting some liquidity added. They're farming SafeMoon, Yolo. There's a few other ones, but they're also farming. Sorry, did I say farming? They're staking, farming, and then they're doing pools as well. So that's something you can look into. But today my focus is on farming with liquidity. So let's just go through the basic idea. You've bought some Yolo. You can let it sit there, hope that the market goes up, in which case I'm pretty confident it will. And the market can go up, it can go down, you can add to it, BNB can go up, which naturally increases the price of your wrapped token, which is YOLO. But what else can we do with it? Well, just like a bank, rather than having it just sit there in the normal savings account doing nothing, we can put it to work. And this is what's called farming. So in this circumstance, I'm going to show you, just depending on how much I've got available, I'm going to show you how to utilize the farming tool that Jazz has now offered for YOLO. So let's have a look here. Farms. Okay. So just JAZZDEFI.com for anyone that's not familiar with it. You can find that on the You Only Live Once website. Now this website's still in development. It will eventually be youonlyliveonce.finance, but for now it's bss.design. So JAZZDEFI. What we can do is, having a look at this, in order for us to add liquidity to the pool, we need to pair an equal amount of YOLO tokens with BNB. Now, it might seem a bit silly in a sense that you've got to, even though it's a wrapped token, you've then got to add Binance to it. But the idea is it gives it liquidity for Jazz in this circumstance to use, and you can pull it out at any time. Obviously, you got a deposit fee. There may be a transaction fee as well, at least in this circumstance for YOLO BNB. But for Jazz, if you use their native token and pair it with YOLO, you get it for nothing. Okay, and they're offering a massive APR for your investments. That's your yearly interest rate. Currently, they've got a pool of 6,460, and the multiplier represents the amount of Jazz rewards each farm gets. So if a farm was getting 1 Jazz per block, 40 times a farm would be getting 40 Jazz per block. So they obviously do use this for transaction purposes. I'm guessing for mining as well. I'm sure someone else can jump in if anybody from Jazz does see this video. But as I said, we're going to focus on trying to use our tokens for good, and to also make some gains whilst it sits there. So what we'll do first, the easiest way for me to do this is we'll jump over to PancakeSwap. Okay, I know we can buy on Jazz, but this is what everyone is familiar with. Okay, liquidity. Now, it's very important. We're not doing a swap. We're adding. We're making a LP token for our wallet, a liquidity token. Now, what's important about this? Well, what is important is that we're trying to make the token paired. Okay, so then we can then use it to farm with on Jazz. So this will go back to our wallet. Okay, I'm going to add liquidity here. We need to find YOLO. Bang. Now you can put your full amount in. It's up to you. You need to have an equal pairing, however. Okay, and by that I mean for the same amount of Binance, it needs to be roughly the same for YOLO. You can't say I want to put 10 times the amount of Binance in and a portion of YOLO. The idea is that you're pairing it together, so it can become a part of a liquidity pool. So this is my test account. Obviously there's not a lot in there, but it's all for educational purposes. Okay, so I'm going to put, let's just go a quarter, because I still need to have gas fees covered, which are in Binance. Okay, so that will pair up that amount. So as long as I can do both, so I've got a balance of both Binance and I also have a balance of YOLO, I can supply it to the pool. Now, click supply. Okay, that should be fine. Confirm supply. Alright, and that's what I said, we get a gas fee for doing this. It's actually probably more, it's worth more than the actual transaction, but it doesn't matter, this is all for educational purposes. Okay, so we'll wait a moment to see if the transaction comes through. It's looking good. Okay, we've wrapped it up, so that should be good. Now let's go back to my PancakeSwap. Okay, so now we should have an LP token as a part of the wallet. So let's have a look at my test wallet here. That I don't believe is my wallet. That's the contract for Pancake. That would be my wallet. Okay, so we've got wrapped tokens now. That's fine. Next step. So that should be sitting as a balance in my metamask. So now we've got a wrapped token of YOLO and BNB. So what we do, once we've got our wrapped token, jump over to JAZZDEFI.com. We should already have that open from before. And we go down to YOLO BNB. We want to enable farming. Important. It's going to cost me 22 cents to do this. So that's fine. Hopefully I do have enough. Confirm. And now what we want to do is stake our YOLO and BNB. Max. That's what we've got available. That's what we want to put through. Confirm. Okay, there's another fee. Next to nothing. Okay, that's fine. There you go. Done. So we're just waiting for this to confirm with the pool at the moment on JAZZDEFI and our metamask. And we are good. That's excellent. So what we need to do is, if we want to harvest what we've put in, okay, obviously it takes some time. We can leave it in there. It'll continue to hopefully appreciate. Obviously, if there's a massive sell-off on any part of this token framework, we can lose a bit, but it's very unlikely at this stage, particularly in our growth cycle that we've got at the moment with pretty much everything. We can come back later on, let's say staked only, live. Okay, this is probably the easiest one, so we don't want to say all this other nonsense. Sorry, JAZZDEFI. We just want to say what we've staked, and we can see at this stage it hasn't earned anything, but that's all right. It eventually will. Whilst it sits there, it is making something for us. What will happen is, at the end of it, let's say for instance it was a sizable amount and it's been a couple of days, could even be a couple of hours, just depending on the market, we will earn Jazz. And the cool thing about it is we can leave it there, it will continue to make, or we can harvest that and it will go back to our wallet as a Jazz token. Okay, so eventually once we're done with that, we take out, if we want to remove it all, take out our Jazz, undo the amount of staking, okay? We can unstake max and confirm, done. And that's it. So what will happen there is we've taken our Jazz out to our metamask, we've for lack of a better word, unstaked our YOLO, and it's the reverse process to pull out of the LP pool, I believe. Okay, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. As I said, this is my first time doing this. This is my test account. But it's an easy way, particularly in this market, if you're going to be a long-term holder particularly, of just letting it do the work for you. Look at that interest rate, okay? 290%, okay? That's across the farm, but 290%, okay? So return on interest, there you go. So just having a look at that, okay, and obviously they use Jazz as their native finance token. For 30 days, if you had $1,000 sitting in there, you're making 26%. Average, okay? That's calculated, it's compounding, all that type of stuff. But if it was there for a year, and things kept going with the bull market, the equivalent Jazz, 1,000, okay, you're making 1,700% interest. $10,000, like, that's unheard of, absolutely unheard of. But that's what you do. Imagine you went to the bank and said, I'll give you $1,000, but in a year's time I want 10,000 back. They'd probably call the police on you and say you're trying to rob you. You're trying to rob us. Okay. So that's it. There is a fee-free farming. So same sort of concept, right? You can actually do Jazz and Binance pairing, right? I mean, sorry, forget that. Not Jazz and Binance. We're focusing on our YOLO. So you can do Jazz and YOLO pairing, and look at that. So per 1,000 Jazz, right? Per 1,000 Jazz, that's up there for a year, and it's based on current rates. Whoa! 30 days makes you $4,000 just for having $1,000 sitting in there. That is mind blowing. It is actually something that I actually want to look at right now. But for 1 year, look at that. Like I mean, it's a new setup. I'm not 100% sure about everything here. As far as, you know, are they going to be around in the year? I don't know. Hopefully they will. They're obviously, they're trying to partner with as many people as possible. And, you know, I've seen SafeMoon come on board. They're going to be around. SafeMoon's everywhere at the moment. But just having a look at this, if we paired, you know, our equivalent Jazz and YOLO, let's say it was $1,000. That is nuts. That's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's your $1 million mark. 10, 100, like, yeah. That does not seem real to me. It could be. It could be, but that's like $2 billion. $2 billion. Anyways, that's something we can look into in another video, by all means. But is it $2 billion? Yeah, it is. That's astronomical. If that was to happen, wow! I don't know why people aren't just chucking their money in. But anyways, just to finish, as I said, we can actually do Jazz and YOLO. So if you jump onto their exchange, liquidity, can add liquidity. So slippage 11 or 12%, whatever it might be. We can do BNB, but we want to do YOLO. And we add Jazz. So I don't know what's a good amount here. Actually, sorry, we need to get Jazz. So easiest way is you can swap Jazz. So 0.004. Let's just say 1. No offense, Jazz, but we're running short on tokens. We slap this up. YOLO. Wait, not YOLO. Jazz. Gotta concentrate. Okay. We do our swap. Confirm swap. We would end up with a Jazz. Okay, from a certain amount. Then we go across to the liquidity. Add liquidity. And we go a bit of YOLO. Jazz. And we put in the equal amount. Obviously, we have no balance of Jazz, but if we had one Jazz, it would be worth a certain amount to match up with our YOLO. Enter it. Done. And then we go straight back to the farming project. Jazz YOLO. Enable farm. You obviously there's transaction fee, and then you can state the amount that you've got. That's an astronomical figure. That's something I'm going to look back to, because I haven't done my research too much on this, but that's just for farming. $1,000 is going to make you that. Yeah. Wow. Okay, if you got any questions, please let me know. I might have extended this video a bit too long. My apologies. It's just purely my thoughts. Again, this is all educational. So please do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm literally a person that finds this interesting. I'm just going through how I would do stuff. Your decisions are your decisions only. Okay, do your due research. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. One other thing, if you've got any other technical questions that you have about YOLO, go to the Telegram. They are there pretty much 24/7. There's people prepared to answer your question. Obviously, be appropriate. The other one is if you've got any questions specifically for Jazz, they've got a Telegram as well down here. JAZZDEFI. I'm sure they're more than happy to help. And particularly, just look again. I look at these interest rates. That is phenomenal. Can you imagine that? I put $1,000 in, and I left it, and then all of a sudden it made that. It blew out. Yeah, that's nuts. Per $1,000 of Jazz. Well, it could happen. You never know. All right. Thank you for watching. And if you've got any questions, as I said, please comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Goodbye.